his day, or somehow or the other he's going to spend his day to please his parents, what is the reward for this person? Allah will open what? 2 doors of paradise for this person. 2 doors of paradise will be opened for this person. وَإِنْ كَانَ وَاحِدًا فَوَاحِدًا, and if he only has 1 parent, then 1 door of paradise will be opened for this person. وَإِنْ أَبْغَضَ أَحَدَهُمَا, and if he displeases one of the 2 parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never be pleased with him until he goes and makes that parent, he goes and pleases that parent. And if he displeases one of the 2 parents, Allah will never be pleased with him. It's impossible that you can go and seek knowledge and you've disobeyed your parents and you expect to get close to Allah. It's impossible that you can go in some far trip to propagate deen and you disobeyed your parents and you went and you think you're going to get barakah. It's impossible. The only way to please Allah then is to go and back and please your parents. The Sahabi then said that what if the parents oppress the child? What if the child's right and the parents are wrong? So then the Sahabi, Abdullah ibn Abbas, replies back by saying, وَإِنْ ظَلَمَاهُ, even if he believed that the parents were wrong, even then he has to be kind to his parents and he can't go against their will. The next hadith, this is a very beautiful hadith, and after we'll narrate 2 more hadiths and we'll end the session, inshallah. This hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what happened is that there was one companion, one person, and he says that I committed some sins that were so great that I had no doubt that these sins were amongst the major sins. In my life I committed certain sins, and they were such that I had no doubt that these sins were actually the major sins, and I had to do something about these major sins. Every person commits sins in their life. There's no doubt in that. When you were young, at some point in your life, every person commits some sin. There's no doubt. No person here is in this gathering who hasn't committed a sin that he is scared that another person should know of. Every person definitely has committed some sin that he knows that if the person next to him knew of it, the person in front of him knew of it, the sister next to her knew of it, they would never be able to sit in that position. They'd have to get up and leave the gathering. We've all committed such sins. There's no doubt in that at all. And we're sure that because of those sins, we are going to be punished on the day of judgment unless we do something about it. So this person, he said to Ibn Umar radiallahu anh, that I've committed such sins. Ibn Umar is the son of Umar, so he was the son of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh. He was also a great Sahabi. So he came to Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anh and he told him that I committed such sins that I have no doubt that they are from the major sins. So Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anh said that, okay, what are the sins? What did you do? So then he began to tell Umar radiallahu anh, I did this, kada wa kada, kada wa kada, I did this and I did that sin, I did this, I did that sin. So then Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anh said, no, these aren't the major sins. The major sins are something else. So in reality, that Sahabi, he did wrong. He did small things, but he was so shameful over those small things that he actually considered those small things as big things. So then Abdullah bin Umar said that no, these aren't the major sins. The major sins are something else. And he says in this hadith that the major sins are 9. How many sins? How many things are major? 9. In one hadith, Rasulullah says that there are 7 major sins. And one hadith, Rasulullah says that there are 3 major sins. Okay? So in different hadith, we find different numbers that Rasulullah or the Sahaba mentioned as major sins. Allama Dhahabi rahmatullah alayhi, he gathers the major sins in one book and he names it Al-Kaba'ir. There's a book written by Allama Dhahabi rahmatullah alayhi, which is also translated in English. It's called The Major Sins. And in Arabic it's called Al-Kaba'ir. The writer is Imam Dhahabi. It's a very good book to read. You should read it and educate yourself on the major sins so we can refrain from them, inshallah. So in this hadith right here, and Allama Dhahabi rahmatullah alayhi, he gathers all the hadith where any Sahabi or Rasulullah mentioned that this is the major sin. He brings them all together in one book so a person can read them all, that yes, these are the major sins. Now, one thing you have to bear in mind, that any small sin, if done consistently, becomes a major sin. Any small sin, if it's done repeatedly, what happens? That small sin automatically becomes a major sin. So the Arabic saying is, لا صغير مع الإصرار ولا كبير مع الاستغفار. There is no such thing as a small sin once you're consistent with it, and there is no such thing as a major sin once you repent from it. Once you repent from a sin, no matter how great it is forgiven. And once you do a small sin repeatedly again and again, it becomes a major sin. Allama ibn al-Jawzi rahmatullah alayhi was one of the great muhaddithin of his time. He mentions one beautiful thing. He says that every sin is great if you compare it to the one who you're being disobedient to. So for example, if there's some young child and he comes up to you, an adult, and he says to you, this young child comes up to an adult and he says, go get me water. He said, bye, go get out of here, go get yourself water. I'm not going to go get water for you. So because you disobeyed that child, The child is no one, you don't care, it doesn't matter. So the guilt that you're going to feel for not bringing that child water, it's not much. Now on the other hand, you're sitting in a gathering, and it's a really big gathering of hadith. And at the front of the gathering, there's some Sheikh Sahaba with a really big white beard, and he came and traveled the world. And he questions, Muntasir, can you go get me water? And Muntasir's like, yeah man, go get yourself water. Now the guilt he's going to feel then, and the gravity of that sin is going to be a lot greater. The reason being is because the one who he disobeyed had a higher status. Do you understand the difference here? So, based on this principle, now you understand that any sin that's committed is always a major sin because the one you're disobeying is the King of all kings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether it be small or big in your eyes, but because you are disobeying Allah and Allah told you to stay away from it, yet you were so tough and you thought you were so big that you still went and did that thing, automatically that deed of yours, that action of yours becomes major. Okay, so here in this hadith, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu tells the person that there are 9 major sins. Okay, the first thing, making partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no doubt in that at all that there is no major sin. There is no sin that is greater than making partners with Allah. Alhamdulillah for granting Islam to all of us here. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam wa kafa biha ni'ma. Every person should be proud and happy. Alhamdulillah, we are Muslims, and there is no bounty that is greater than Islam. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. The second major sin, killing an innocent person. An innocent person, going and kill that person, that's a major sin. The third thing, running away from a battlefield. If there's a battle taking place, the Muslims are fighting against the kuffar, and you chicken out and you run away and you turn the other way and run away, this is a major sin. The fourth thing, is to wrongfully accuse some female of committing adultery. That it goes both ways actually. But if some girl or someone accuses a man of committing adultery, it affects him, but not as much as it may affect the girl for committing adultery. The reason being is that because our society is such, that once someone has been accused of adultery, especially the sisters, then it's very hard to marry that person. Or once some sister has been through a marriage and she's divorced, to have that sister remarried again is very difficult in our society. It's a sad situation, but it's a reality. So to wrongfully accuse a pure and clean and modest and chaste girl who spent her entire life in chastity, to accuse her of adultery, this is a major sin. Okay, so that was the fourth thing, right? The fifth thing is consuming interest, to deal in interest, to buy and sell an interest. This is a major sin, and it's very sad that today in our society, Rasulullah mentioned one beautiful hadith. And one hadith Rasulullah said that at times going to come that the world will be so involved in usury, in interest, that even those people who want to stay away from it, the smoke of the interest is going to come inside their houses. So the Sahaba are shocked that how is that possible? That once Rasulullah said that the one who uses interest and deals in interest, gives interest or takes interest, is actually waging war against Allah. Some foolish person may go and commit a small mistake here and there, but who in the world is ready to go face Allah in a battle? So it was beyond their mind that how could someone ever deal in interest once these words and the verses of Allah are so explicit and so clear? And then Rasulullah was saying that not only will people deal in it, but it will become so common that the people who are trying to hide from interest, the smoke of the fire of interest is actually going to reach them too. And this we can see in the 21st century clearly. Around us, there's very few people who actually even take dealing in interest serious at all. There's a great portion of us that just give interest, oh no, we live in the Western countries, we have to deal with it, they oppress us, we oppress them, and this, that, and justifying it in a million ways. That's one group of people. Another group of people, first of all, they don't even care. And the second people, they know that it's a sin, they know it's a sin, but yet they don't refrain from it. It's very hard to find a single family that hasn't dealt in interest at some point in their life. If that's even possible. It's something that's beyond imagination. And the adults, the younger crowd, you probably don't understand what we're speaking about here, but the adults can testify. Once you buy your car, once you buy your house, once you have your credit card, for those that are buying houses, then you're definitely in trouble. Illa masha'Allah. Then you're definitely in trouble. Then those students who have, who want to go